Hi guys, Melanie here at Vision City Design Studio. I wanted to create this video for those of you who are creative moms who are in the process of being a mompreneur and getting your online art business going while being a mom to little ones. If that's you, keep watching this video. I've been running my own online art business for over 10 years now, and about halfway through that process, I decided to actually launch art products for sale. So I released my own art products on Etsy. I released 11 by 14 art prints, which have actually taken off and become an online brand, which I sell to this day. I've had the opportunity to gain wholesale deals, licensing deals with major retailers across North America. I've done major trade shows and huge events that I never even would have imagined being a part of. But it all really started when I launched my own art products several years ago. Now, simultaneously, while all this was happening, I was also becoming a mom. Right now, I have a 4-year-old who is the light of my life and keeps me on my toes. And at the same time, I've actually been trying to figure out how to balance being a mom and a creative entrepreneur. So for those of you who are in the same position, I wanted to offer some helpful tips for those of you who are really struggling with this on how to really figure this thing out and actually really enjoy being a mom at the same time. The term mompreneur has been coined over the last several years for those of us who are moms that are also entrepreneurs. And it really is a great term because it is really a clashing of two completely different worlds together. On one hand, we've got kids that we want to pour our hearts into and everything into and make sure we're doing the right thing with, obviously, as we are raising our children. And on the other hand, we have this baby, so to speak, of our business that we really feel like we want to pour into as well. And it's kind of like having two different kids in a way. So for those of you who are in the same position as me, I really wanted to just cast some insight and some things that have really helped me along the way that maybe might help you as well. One of the first things that really helped me when I was a young mom with a young baby trying to figure this whole thing out was really using my time wisely. The number one way I got any work done when my daughter was a baby, and so this is for those of you who have infants and those who are actually like children in diapers kind of thing. Those of you who have kids who are still taking naps, okay? So for those of you who are in that stage, one of the number one things that I did to really move my business forward when my daughter was young and having naps and in diapers was I literally would make her nap times my most effective work times of my day. So obviously, it's impossible to really work when you have a child who's physically there beside you needing your attention. But while she was napping, it was like I went all hands on deck and I literally would attack my work, even if it was just for 1 hour a day. So I would literally challenge myself to see how much I could humanly get done within the hour to 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours if she would sleep that long. And I really would literally challenge myself on how much I can get done. It's kind of like a game in a way that I'd play with myself. I remember reading a book one time about this exact topic, and the woman who wrote the book, it was actually a book called Clueless, and it's all about being a mom and an entrepreneur at the same time. And she specifically made this thing like an idea of being fun. So how much can I possibly get done while my child is asleep? And so I took that to heart, and that literally saved me from feeling like I was completely losing my business. And it really helped me to feel like I was still moving forward while being a great mom to my daughter, who at the time was very young and who was in my care during the days. I didn't have her in a daycare at that time or anything like that. And so for me, that was literally what saved really that opportunity to work every day, was working during naps. So for those of you who are in that position, now it might be more challenging if you have more than one child, because sometimes when one child's sleeping, the other one isn't. So that can be challenging. But for those of you who are in the position where that can work for you, maybe you can try that. I know it's hard, and frankly, running a business is hard. So these are the kind of sacrifices we have to make if we want to run a business, obviously. But I found that by actually buckling down and making those 1 to 2 hours my work hours during the day, it actually really helped me a lot. And it made me feel empowered because then by the time she woke up, now I'm ready again to be in mom mode. So that really helped me, and I hope that that can help you too. Now, on the topic of time management, another thing that really helped me and still helps me to this day is the concept of block time. Now, if you've never heard of block time is such a powerful concept, and this is going to change your life if you implement this. And this can be implemented into any thing or goal you're working at, or whatever it might be, where you feel like you don't have enough time to get everything done, or you feel scattered when it is time to work. This has been something that's absolutely changed my life, and I hope it can help you. Now, block time is when you do all of one thing at one time. So for example, today, right now, I'm doing block time. So right now, I've set up a few hours of my day to just shoot videos for my students, for people who I'm doing training videos for, and so on. This is my block time to only work on videos. I've blocked it off in my calendar. There's nothing going to interrupt me. My phone is off, everything else is off, and all I'm doing specifically is block time videos. Now, sometimes my block time might be for 2 hours where I just do sketches. I turn everything off. I know that I'm not going to have distractions. Maybe it's when my daughter is sleeping, or maybe it's when, I know that I have a free moment to myself, and I can literally just do block time. So maybe that would be, again, while your child is sleeping, and you just get all of one thing done. So you can even do things like all of your social media posts for Instagram and load them into like an online software, specifically just for that month or for that week, so that you're not every day thinking, oh, I didn't post about my business today, and so on. So those are the kind of things you can do with block time. You can do all of one thing at one time. So maybe Mondays could be, your 1 hour you have to yourself on Mondays could be just doing follow-up calls. Maybe you're trying to get your art products into stores, for example. So you could specifically just make Mondays your follow-up call day. And I physically mean getting on the phone, old school, and calling people. I feel like people have lost the art of the actual telephone. It does exist still. All we do now is Instagram message and text and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes just picking up the phone call and having 1 hour of phone calls could be the difference between gaining a whole bunch of new contracts or not. So these are the kind of things that I find are really, really powerful, especially when you gather it all together and you do it all within one chunk of time. Another example could be maybe you're working on an art collection. Maybe you are a watercolor painter and you're working on a watercolor series, for example. Maybe you specifically set up just 2 hours just to create as much watercolor pieces as possible and just play. Maybe you create windows of time that are just creative play time. I've actually been implementing that in my life again because I felt like I was doing so much business stuff that I was kind of just missing just play time, creative time. And that for me is really important. So I really wanted to cultivate that so that I didn't feel like I was always wearing a business hat. I just want to be an artist too and create. That's kind of what I was missing. And so for me, I've created chunks of time that I literally write in my calendar that are uninterrupted and undisturbed time. So that could really help you with that. So block time is a life-changing thing. Now you can even do that in other areas of your life. As a mom, obviously we have a lot of things we need to do. Maybe it's food prep. Maybe it's for the whole week. Maybe you make your own baby food. I know that that's off the topic of being creative, but not really, because being a mom and making food every day is a creative task. So maybe for you, it's, 1 day a week is your food prep day, or maybe you food prep for like 3 days. So then that way, just like one thing is done in advance. And that way on, Tuesday evening, you're not trying to figure out what am I giving my kid again for dinner. Like little things like that make a really big difference. And so I want to encourage you, block time is a life-changing thing. So decide on the things that you really need to do every week, and then look on your calendar and find out, okay, what little windows of time do I actually have? Instead of watching Grey's Anatomy, or instead of watching The Bachelorette, or whatever it's called, instead of just doing things like that, which sure, maybe people we might enjoy them, but here's the thing. Are they moving us towards our goals? Not really, right? And I have nothing against these TV shows. I'm just trying to give an example here. So maybe that's you. Maybe you're like, man, I feel like I never have enough time. I never get my goals met for every week. Block time could be your answer. So I want to encourage you to try that out, and I hope it really helps you. My third tip for this video would be to really involve your kids. I know it sounds like a crazy idea in a way, because how can our kids really be involved in our business? And major disclaimer, by the way, I'm not talking about having our kids actually do work, okay? This is not about child labor at all, obviously. What I really mean by that is maybe involve your kids in the creative process. Maybe when you're painting, you have your toddler set up with, tarps on the ground, obviously to catch all the paint. But maybe your toddler gets some of their own little painting tools, and they too are being creative beside you. Get them involved. Maybe that's just a little bonding way that you guys can bond together. Or maybe you're an illustrator and you do a lot of ink sketches, or pen and ink, or pencil sketches, or whatever it might be. Maybe your child can also be there beside you and be allowed to kind of make their own little mess and really be involved. Because the reality is, we don't want to just exclude our kids from everything we're working on. Obviously, some things are challenging to include our kids on. I mean, client meetings, for example, might not be a good idea, but things that are like creative or playful. Maybe your child is involved in putting the stickers, like maybe the labels, onto the packages you're sending out. My daughter's helped my husband and myself in that way. Or my husband's, he's a rock musician. He travels the world doing rock music. So he's done like Kickstarter campaigns and different like promotional campaigns. And our daughter's kind of just added stickers into the packages. We might have a whole bunch of packages lined up on the ground, like ready to go out the door, and she'll just stick a little stickers in each one of them. But for her, it's so fun. And even when she was like 2.5, she'd be doing that, like walking around in a diaper doing it. But she was having fun, and she felt like she was helping mommy and daddy. So I want to encourage you that maybe there's little fun ways that you can involve your child, so that they feel like they're accomplishing with you and they're helping mommy, and that could be a really fun bonding thing. So I want to encourage you guys to maybe think about that as well, because you'd be surprised. You might actually have some fun. Maybe put some music on, maybe some fun music that your child likes or that you like, and dance a little bit and have some fun. Because I feel like when we involve our kids in our whole life, and in our whole creative life, it could really become a family adventure. Maybe mommy's doing a trade show, or maybe mommy's doing a little art market, and so forth. Maybe your child comes out and comes out for a little bit and just kind of stands behind the table and helps mommy a little bit. These little ways can really bring closeness to a family. So I just think that those kind of things can be fun. Yes, they can be a little stressful because they're kids, right? They're not going to do everything how we want them to be done. They might make messes, and they might spill things on our trade show table. Kids, they're kids. But I think it might be worth the effort, and another idea just to keep children involved in what we're doing. So I hope these tips have really helped you. I really believe that there's so much opportunity, and sometimes I feel like as moms, being a mom can almost be the excuse for us not going after the goals in our heart, the art goals. Maybe you're a creative artist and you feel like you kind of put that down a little bit before you became a mom, or as you became a mom. And I want to encourage you to stir it up. If that's something in your heart, I want to encourage you to stir it up and to not give up on it, because there's so much opportunity. There's a lot of community as well. For those of you who have not joined my Facebook group, for example, I've got a Facebook group called the Etsy Artist Dream Team. I want to encourage you to come on out and check it out. It's predominantly mostly women, and a lot of them are moms. Some aren't, but a lot of them are. And you can really just kind of connect with different people who are maybe creating the same type of art you create, or who want to create what you do, or maybe you want to create what they make or something similar. And you can just kind of make some connections, because sometimes when we're all alone as moms, that's when we feel weak. That's when we feel like tired and this is not going to happen. But when you realize, hey, there's another mom on the other side of the country who's got more kids than I do, and she's doing it. So if she can do it, I can do it. And I've had that kind of thought go through my head a lot of times, because I've got one, and even one can be tiring, right? But when we have, a girl who's around the block doing this with like 4 kids, and she's just going for it, it encourages us sometimes and challenges us. So I want to be the one to challenge you to not give up on your dream as an artist, as a mom. And I want to encourage you that even like when I became a mom, one of the things that really helped me was that it actually motivated me to want to be even more successful, because suddenly I had these little eyes looking at me. I had this little girl who was, and is looking at me as mommy in life. And so I'm even more motivated now to want to be successful and to want to provide like an example for her that, yes, mommy can do this. Women can do this. We can do this together. So I want to encourage you. We're in this together. and we can definitely do this. So please go for your dreams. Don't give up on them. And while I'm at it, I want to make sure you know about a webinar that I have going right now. This link will not be available forever, but right now it's available and it's free. And it's about a 90-minute webinar that I've done recently where I've included a really great Q&A section as well, of really great questions that were coming in. But I wanted to make sure you are aware of it so that you don't miss it. There's a lot of really great information in there. A lot of people have been really enjoying it and really sending me some really great feedback. So I encourage you to click the link below and join the webinar while it's still live. Thank you guys so much and have a great day. Talk to you soon.